So before we start, I want to make sure that Felix, can you introduce yourself and kind of your background, however you want to do it?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm Felix Del Rey. I live in Atlantia. I guess my whole SCA experience was about 25 years. I've been doing armored combat for most of that time, mostly rattan, some rebated steel, and for the last several years I've been doing a lot of rapier.
Are you currently still warlord, or is that officially done?
Oh yeah. So still also Warlord of Atlantia.
I was like, that's still pretty. Like a lot of folks know you from or for that as of late, at least.
Yeah. That's the job in it for the foreseeable future. Although
Yeah.
it's supported by a great cast of characters, some of whom could definitely take over the shop if they had the time and desire.
Alex, does the Felix Chibi look pretty good when he's speaking? It looks pretty good to me, from what I can tell. Cool. Dope. All right. I just I got home and rush compiled this together, this phone footage. So it is probably not updated quality wise. We'll see. We'll see if I can. Oh, hey, look, YouTube
Oh, here
works
you go.
fast. All right. Let's do it. I don't remember what I think I probably filmed like Lucian and like people that we know or other Atlanteans.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is. It's the Antigone of York here.
That's
Lucian.
not Antigone. I think that's
But unless
Athelwyn, another one of Herd.
Sven's
Am I good?
folks.
Or is that Antigone
Like,
proper?
I was just going off the style and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have pretty similar
the
kits.
movement.
Modern and all that. I think that's Athelwyn. It's like I know that's Athelwyn. Fighting your squire Lucian, Atlantean in the blue and
Yeah.
black with the shield in the foreground.
Yeah, I think he fought a couple of these folks.
What do you think he like watching through this? He could be doing better against this particular type of matchup.
I think Lucian's kind of a defense first fighter. So I think he's very learning focused,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like proving himself type thing. So I think that's the way he's approaching this fight. And he hasn't really fought this style very much, so he's kind of sitting out and seeing what it's like to defend yourself here. So I
Okay.
think he's really kind of in defensive learning mode, which is a good place for him to be.
It's like he absorbs some
If he
blows
was
a little bit.
trying, if I was gonna say like, um, things he could do to win the fight a little better, I might give him other advice. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as like for his learning style, I think he's approaching it the right way, and he's probably picking up some good learning here.
That was a good return off that offside, with the onside, just under it.
Yeah.
I think it went through the Madu.
Yeah, he's trying to find his lines. But yeah, he doesn't fight the style very often. And I would say, as far as like from a success perspective, he's definitely not picking his measure very well.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
was gonna
sitting
say
right in the kill zone
he's
of
hanging out
that
in
Madu.
the
So
yep.
he can barely reach. Oh, no, there you go. I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that.
That's
And
the kill zone, right?
then he does. Then he does a good little job stepping in a little bit. But yeah, he's kind of standing right at optimal thrust range, and then when he steps in, he's stepping into the thrust range for the top point. That being said, from a learning perspective, it's not bad to stand in someone's strike zone and learn what it's like to have to defend those shots, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's practice after all. Thorin, I hope you get to make it out. Just know that it's in the middle of winter, which is like we've gotten snow the last couple of years. It's been an adventure every time. Chat. That was Celestria, my partner. One of her first times in armored at all, fighting specifically sword and board. She has done spear a good amount at this point, but I think I just caught a little snippet of her kind of working. Alex, I think the biggest thing is committing to those throws the way like Billy showed you. Putting more hips. Like that was a lot of arm.
Yeah, I would say the where she started her shot from as well is it's kind of hard to connect your lower body to your upper body. Hands low, hands forward, elbow down, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Felix and I have had a lot of conversations about like in this position where you are right now, you could step forward. Hold on, let me swap to face cam. You can step forward and pull your fist back, if that makes sense. Your body can go forward as your fist stays where it is in space, thus chambering the shot. That is something that is a fairly common tactic that I've seen. That way you don't have to like, do this before hitting somebody.
Yeah, or you could just have your start with your hand up and back a little bit, and then the jab step can become the power generation. And so a lot of Sven's folks are on here. They do that really well. Use their forward momentum for power, as opposed to hip rotation.
Yep.
I like a little bit of both, either or both.
All this phone footage should be of like folks that I'm going out of my way to capture extra footage of them.
Sure,
so John,
sure. So
you probably aren't in chat, but we're watching you right now. Hopefully someone clips this and sends this to you of why you could do better. This is Anseurin John with the square shield.
And someone on the sidelines told me he had just clipped down the size of his shield before this.
Yes.
Somewhat recently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true. That's just something someone.
No, he was given
had mentioned while he was out here fighting.
A hand-me-down, which was sized for a larger human.
Got it.
And so now he's playing with a slightly smaller. It's still a war door relatively to his body size. But
sure. I'm sure there's a little bit of an adjustment period though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's kind of figuring out the ends of the implement.
Yeah, where those corners are at.
Oh, I missed this already. Yeah,
oh, nice counter.
You're right. It is on your end standard chat. The Anseurin trapezoid, I guess. They tend to not have the perfect rectangle, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a bunch of variants on the theme over the years. Some are just
nice.
Rectangles, some have a little cant to them, some have a little knob on the top, like John's.
Yeah, we hope. The nub is that serving a purpose, or is it all design?
I don't know.
Pat, does anyone know if the nubby at the top of the rectangle has a purpose, historically speaking? I don't know enough about this shield design. Ooh, he just got fucking slotted.
Stuck.
Yep.
Yeah, he has that really nice outside line thrust. He does that disengage we've been talking about really well.
Mm-hmm.
That you've started working in. And plus, once he does it one way, you got to worry about it both ways, which is dicey.
If I had it correct channel, a leg brace would be mounted there to shoot from behind. Oh, I see. Interesting.
What did they say?
They're saying, chat was saying it's a flat pavis. So if I had the leg brace and mounted, you could shoot from behind it.
Ah, got it. So there's a good reason for it. It's just not for us.
Someone else in chat was saying Thorin saying little extra head coverage, which makes sense for the purposes of our game for sure.
Get out there and do it again, and then again. Go find and take a knee.
What do you think is John's like best return on investment for his fighting? I mean, you got to watch him fight a good bit at Adult Swim.
What's his best what?
So you've watched his footage over the last like 6 months worth of footage. What is his like return on investment for winning crown specifically? Because that's his goal.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I know that they do a light tap to the face. So
And on Stewart, yeah.
so he's got that. He's got the thrust. But other than that, I think on Stewart's take a pretty like stout SCA standard shot.
Yeah. Not far apart from Atlantia for sure.
Yeah. So I have to kind of calibrate it to that. But I think they also fight in really small lists, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
like claustrophobically small, at least for the last several I've seen. And I think he does really well kind of at range because he's got real fast hands and he can change range a lot. But I don't know how much ROI that has when they fight in those really small lists.
Why is this upside down?
So I actually had some advice for him when we fought about fighting in A range, and I think just given how small their lists are, really working A range just makes sense. So you can impose it on people as well as if it's imposed on you. So yes. So
I have no idea why some of this came out upside down. Sorry, chat. We're gonna skip a chunk of it. It looks like there's
but
some
I think what he and I talked about a lot was in the realms of like shield manipulation and that type of thing.
right, the stuff that we've talked about from like A range, kind of using your tools a little bit more cohesively.
Yeah, as well as kind of how to cover and close, and how to deal with people that are doing that. So I don't know if you have any clips of our fight later, but that was kind of the advice I had for him.
I have I have clips of your fighting somewhere kicking around in here, for sure.
I think at one point, like Duke's fan of Onsteer came out and we just talked for like 10-15 minutes about it. We kind of geeked out over it. But yeah, that's my take. Just some of that more complex A range fighting.
Chat, for those just joining us, welcome in. Felix reminded me that I had filmed a bunch on my phone as well on Adult Swim for the armored side and totally forgotten it. So I made a small compilation, threw it up. Apparently, and I threw it up like last minute today, like a few minutes before I hopped online to go live. And so unfortunately, it looks like a chunk of this is upside down. I'll have to go back and rectify that in the future. So sorry in advance. You might just want to flip your monitor for that few minutes. Threags. This is Duke Ragnar Blackhammer of Atlantia. I felt pretty good fighting him this last weekend.
Yeah.
Doing pickups. Just felt good. I think you watched some of it.
Yep. Sure did.
Generally speaking, that square shield is heavy, but I feel good like understanding his general meta of like waiting to wrap over top of the wrap. Who did I catch in the back? I don't know. Oh, I think I'm looking at Tash here.
Oh, the lefty. Yeah.
I think that's Tash using a buckler, right?
Yeah.
His normal,
Yep, sure is.
shield. Oh, we're talking about the orange and white here on the right side.
I think Connell over on the right for Atlanteans fighting. Yeah, Taj's a good buckler fighter.
I've never fought a buckler. It seems so difficult to fight buckler, to be honest. Like the coverage is so lackluster.
Yeah. I like it matched.
Right. Yes. Equal opportunity.
I've fun with it as a match fight, but I haven't done a whole lot of it fighting people with their normal big shields.
Is that the? Sorry, I just rewinded to look at the person in red and black in the foreground. You're checking out there what this shoulder strap thing was. I didn't know if it was attached to a shield or not. I remember someone had a proper harness for their shield at Adult Swim.
It's like maybe a ball trick. Maybe they're guilty to a master at arms or something.
Here we have Tegan of Anglesey, also Atlantean, and Celestial working together.
Yeah, speaking of Warlord stuff, Tegan's the Northern Regional Commander for Atlantia. The super good melee fighter and commander.
Welcome in, folks that are just joining us. We found some old Adult Swim footage that I didn't know I had, thanks to Felix, who is joining me tonight to kind of watch some of the footage. We're watching Tegan and Celestia, both of Atlantia, kind of work their swordboard game, which is they are both spear people first and foremost in terms of experience and skill set.
Yeah, for sure. They're both really good spears. Very different spear fighters. Tegan's really good at getting establishing kind of an area of control with their spear, and kind of making everyone around her a force multiplier. Celestia's just like a gunslinging killer, like so fast, hands and feet.
You can see Alex having
Both
the
really
habits.
valid metas.
Yeah, definitely. Did you know that tunic that she's wearing, I wore first, and is
Oh, really?
Yep. Because she has so much stuff underneath, it fits her as well. That's why it's hanging down to her knees. It was just shorter on me, but like width-wise, it was the same. Because I had less under tunic stuff. It was a hand-me-down from Lynette, I believe. Hello, welcome in. Zygmunt? Am I saying that right? Yeah, welcome in. I like this. I always like having an interkingdom chat. It's nice. Tonight we have at least Mid-Realm, Atlantia, and Meridies represented. If there's more, we might. There might be others. Y'all can pipe up and chat. Let us know. Oh, we got East. Look at that. Love it. Much like Adult Swim is gathering from all over.
Looked a little bit like Tegan was talking to Celestia about using a little more lateral motion, which I think coming from rapier over to heavy, that definitely is a transition. I think that looks make. Yeah,
definitely.
Rapier lateral motion, it can be valid, but it can also really get you ripped up if you get caught stepping big laterals. Whereas in armored, especially sword and shield, lateral motion's great.
Yeah, the big lateral.
The shield lets you get away with it quite a bit.
Welcome. Oh, we got Antier and West Kingdom. I think we have the full, quite a full gamut of chatters. That's great. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
He is by far, I think, the best person. He's always has been.
Chat. How do you? It sounds like we've got a reasonably experienced crowd here. How do you all teach newer folks? So like Celestia here in the blue and with the green and black shield. She's like second, maybe third time sword and board ever at this point. This past Adult Swim. What's like in your experience, the best return on investment that you've found to teaching someone who's pretty new? And the same question goes to you, Felix. What's your like brand spanking new human, just got into armor, started playing around? What do you tell them for like best return?
So I think the thing number one is making sure that they're safe and comfortable, and that has to do a little bit with the gear they're wearing in using. After that, technique wise, it kind of depends a little bit on their background, right? Because I think as well as kind of their intent, right? And if some people just want to try it out and have fun, and they want to see if it's for them, then I try to give them an experience, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Other people want to dive straight into technique and they have a million questions. If so, that's fine. So I guess if the question is someone's like, hey, what's the first set of homework I should do? I usually try to figure out if they've done an activity that we can kind of adapt. So for, I might have different stance recommendations and things like that. If someone's doing rapier beforehand versus if they boxed and that type
Right,
of thing.
yeah.
But
Okay.
kind of how you stand and how you defend. But if we're going to track over the next few months and they want to stick at it and train, for sword and shield, I like to get them learning how to block with the shield and throw effective, orthopedically friendly shots with the sword.
Right.
And then if they stick in it for longer, it's kind of a little bit of vice versa, learning how to defend a little bit with the sword and learning how to be a little offensive with the shield.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense.
And footwork and movement is great. I find it's the way you work that in. I find it's very highly specific to the person.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Find a building block on which you can kind of create skill, technique, and all that.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
that
I mean,
might be.
other than just kind of going over fundamentals, right? What's a passing step, a gathering step, a compass step.
Yeah. Cool.
I wouldn't say I'm terribly prescriptive with footwork movement patterns because some people are more mobile than others, right? Some people are taller,
Definitely.
shorter, or faster,
Yeah,
slower.
chat saying the same thing. Sir Thorin saying that's the same first question of what have you? What's your background? Essentially,
Yeah.
teaching off of that. Stance,
Yeah,
power
it's-
gen, best, and then being comfortable in gear. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was one of the things that I had a lot of trouble with when I first started doing this activity. Was just getting gear that didn't feel cumbersome and uncomfortable to be in. That's its own side quest and journey.
Yeah. Or you feel safe in, right?
That's true,
I
that's true.
started out fighting in SCA minimal gear, fighting very hard hitting people, and I had bruises everywhere.
Right,
for
yeah.
the first year, and just getting more protective armor just made me fight a little bit different. I was more willing to stand in the pocket versus just
That is true.
run around like crazy.
I had a torse pad for 6 months where he was blowing up the inside of my leg, just above the knee, with that inside leg wrap from the left side. I just I was like, this is detrimental to me existing because I can't move as well. In this set, chat, if you don't know, Felix, who is with us, joining us on comms tonight, is in the black on the left here and has been fighting. Do you remember the set?
Oh yeah, this is a mid realm fighter, and he was. I think when I asked him, he was working on. He was just just trying to get some reps in. So we were just kind of having a friendly set, trading a few shots back and forth, working through a few different zones. And then on the right is my square Fritz, in the black with the shield here.
Fritz was doing good work. I was watching him do some stuff in just this last set.
Yeah.
He got a couple of thrusts, a beautiful thrust in the thumb lead style ones.
Yeah, he's been working the thrust lately. It's definitely coming along. That's something where maybe doing a little cross training and rapier would help with just getting reps in with disengages and things like
yeah,
that.
the smaller movements for thrusts. Yeah, absolutely.
It's straight shot thrusts are real nice. Ooh, what's happened to his opponent here?
You had a leg shot thing up here that I really liked. I wanted to look at.
Yeah, sure. I was just watching Fritz's fights.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
If you watch the last 5 minutes, it's both of you fighting the whole time, or a lot of the time. So it's good to. It's good watching. You can watch it a couple of times, get a bunch of different stuff out of it. Yeah, you had an interaction somewhere around here where you guys close up into kind of BA into A,
Mm-hmm.
and when you throw those leg shots, you throw them pulling that hand back on the wrap. in a way that I don't necessarily see a lot of other kingdoms do. Some do, some don't. It seems to be that.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of throw my hand down and back. So if you've ever seen someone
The
uh,
full duck right here.
the yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm for disclosure, I'm fighting with a new shield, and I don't feel fully comfortable with it here at this event. So I'm maybe voiding a little more than I normally would. So that's why I did that. I wasn't like being clever. I was just I was just not feeling comfortable and confident in my shield work. But as far as the way that shot goes, that's the way my knight Michael Bedford throws his wraps, and he throws them that way for a couple reasons. One, it's pretty easy on the arm because I'm just like slinging my arm through, and I'm not like forcing my forearm over or anything. But I guess from a tactics perspective, it can be helpful when fighting another sword and shield fighter because it kind of drags the sword kind of around the shield versus kind of down and towards the shield, the way a lot of people throw wraps.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's also a nice moment in there if you throw your hand back, and this isn't a good angle for this, but your hand actually kind of disappears behind your shield.
Right.
So
If you drop it down by
kinda
your
can't
hip.
see. Yeah, yeah. So it disappears, and in that moment, you can actually keep firing the wrap, or you can throw a rising flat snap, or I can chamber back and maybe throw something else. I can throw a rising thrust. You can do a few things from there. So those are. I'm not saying it's the best way to throw a wrap, but it's how I do it, and I primarily started doing it that way because it's just really easy on the sword arm.
Right.
And at some point in my fighting, my sword arm got a little really torn up, and I just really focused on techniques that were just I could throw good power with a lot of volume, and just didn't negatively impact the very small muscles in my rotator cuff and my elbow and my wrist.
I feel like that's a common enough injury. Is just shoulder problems. Oh man.
Yeah, so you could kind of see it there,
Yeah.
right? Like I said, it's not a great angle for it, but dropping back down and around, my sword disappears behind my shield, and
Yep.
then I can also pump my arm back, and from there I could throw another wrap, or I could throw a riser, which is kind of how that fight.
I can see you're still working those midline thrusts, like the slot thrust.
Yeah, for sure. As well as what works off of them, right?
Right. Yeah. What can you get off of that?
I've also started working in the disengages as well. I would say getting more success on left-handed fighters and two-sword fighters, more so than right-hand sword and shield. Still working it out.
You guys had a long set. We're talking like
Oh yeah. This guy had great cardio.
10 plus now in terms of minutes
Yeah.
in the set. That's impressive. That's hard to do. Fritz is out there already. He never sat down. He's just waiting for his next one.
Oh yeah, for it's made of cardio.
Also a cardio beast.
Yeah, Fritz in a similar situation to me. New shield. I'm kind of trying to get reps in. I think in addition to the different dimensions and weight, I need to move my hand strap a little bit. Tighten it up a little.
Is it like too close to the corner? Or is it too low, too high? Just
So the way it's held, I have to. It doesn't naturally get that corner up, and you can actually see me carrying it a little flatter than I would normally like. I usually like to have that corner canted up.
Yep.
And normally I can just naturally. That's how the shield is hung. And the other thing that does is it puts my bottom tip in a not where I'm used to having it, so you can actually you can see it in all these in that set. It floats out in front of my leg, so my leg's exposed and my head's exposed. And now I can force it into another position, but it doesn't naturally sit where I want it to sit.
right. That makes sense. So you want that passive corner to kind of poke up a little bit more, ultimately.
Yeah.
Which means either bringing your elbow down or adjusting right, one or the other in that rotation.
And the way it is right now, I can manually make it do it, but I'm kind of fighting my shield.
Yeah. You're putting in work.
I just need to loosen up the forearm, tighten up the hand, and maybe angle the hand. But that's why we it's good to get a lot of reps in, so you can kind of get the feel for these things.
Did you get them on offside in that one?
So,
I was watching this.
oh,
Yeah.
Getting
It's just
out.
that offside cut. It was just coming on screen, so I couldn't like. Yep, just that offside cut. Yep, it's a rib.
yeah. Yeah, look. I think that came off of a forehand, so it's flat snap offside.
Yeah. Onside, pop offside. I was trying to catch a little bit more of Sven and Rag.
Yeah, just the flat snap gets the shield up into one side, and that opens up the cross cut.
That's cool.
It does leave you open for a counter though, which is oftentimes we might want to throw a third shot, like a clearing shot out of that, but the fight had clearly ended, so I didn't
Right.
try. He dropped his shield, so I didn't
Chat.
hit him again.
The person. The reason I filmed this with my phone is because the person that the person over there in the yellow, red, and blue, kind of fading off in the background right now that I'm trying to mouse over. They are an Atlantean, newer fighter, but certainly a good fighter, and definitely a hot stick in their journey. A couple years in, winning a bunch of stuff, doing really well in general. And I was trying to explain to them, like, there's people that exist like Ragnar of Ansiora, where they're like, the skill gap is high enough that it is palpable against the majority of people who fight him. And it's a different experience. It's with the different styles. Like, you got to go fight. You got to go get that experience. And so in some ways, I'm throwing him under the bus of Ragnar. But in some ways, I think it is genuinely a valuable experience just to understand like how good some people can be at different forms. And so I tossed him out there. Chat, for those who haven't fought Ragnar, that is go pick a fight with him. Hell of an experience. Hard fight. You have a set with him in Adult Swim, Felix?
No, I didn't. But he was. I did take part of the two-sword class that him and Duke Sven took, and then I had to go do Warlord stuff. So I did Armored Day 1 and Rapier Day 2, and I just didn't get a lot of Armored sets then.
Yeah.
Fortunately. But I took part of their class. It was really good. And then Day 2 before Rapier, him and Sven were really generous with their time, and they kind of walked me through some stuff, questions I had that I wasn't able to ask in their class because I left. Really impressed with their approach to fighting and able to steal some drills and things to work on. But yeah, I'd definitely be down to fight. They both look like tremendous fighters for sure.
We got Ron Valder and your boy.
Fritz.
Yeah, Fritz.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of left-handed fighters where we are. So I'm glad he got this in as well as some other fights. We
I'm
just
glad I
don't
got
have a
some
lot of active lefties near us. Active.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But this is Laren started coming out on Wednesdays, which is great. I've thought about getting I think I told you, getting a center grip and fighting on some left-handed.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Sorry I didn't get back to you about that. I don't have the plastic that you need, but I absolutely have extra shields I can just send you, like extra center grips.
Okay, great.
And we can work. I can send you a few pictures. I have like 6 or 7 shields kicking around here at this point. You're welcome to take a different one. Just use it. Like, let it be a loner shield.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm not necessarily looking to, get anything out of it prowess wise. It's just
you're just
letting people get reps in with against the left hand.
Exactly. Yeah. I've in this last week I've pelled as far as my shots are concerned, I've pelled 100 of each of the major shot combos with my left. Just working on eventually being able to do kind of this or try out the style, the herd style.
Yeah, Leon's in a heck of a dogfight here.
Yeah, yeah. I only feel a little bad.
It definitely, I think left an impression. It's good, and then now they're giving some good instruction.
Yeah. Get beat
Great.
up a little, but then like really learn some.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're both. I guess Duke's Fens out there right now. Both of them are really good coaches as well. Um,
Celestria, it's you.
and they come out of like I guess foam fighting groups, so they have a completely different approach to what I'm familiar with, which is also very interesting.
Yep. Yeah, coming out of
Approach to
Jackie.
fighting, approach to
Amp
learning, drills, all that stuff. And I've actually gone to more foam fighting and practices and sparring. I know you and I definitely have. And I find it has a lot of advantages. It moves really fast, lets you be more willing to experiment because the penalty for failure is lower.
Right,
You can also
yeah.
just get so many reps in.
Yeah.
I say on Wednesday, I fight armored at least twice a week, and on Wednesdays I usually fight foam. And Fritz with the light boffer is just so fast. It's so so good for the new shield work.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say you don't even need like a full armored helmet. You just need like fencing gear and buffers and your shield, and you're good.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
gloves.
we go like personal protection, helmets, gloves, sword, shield.
I was like, boffer is not really like a Scadian form. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really fall into our rule sets in the sense
Oh,
that
yeah,
it's, like, it's an authorized weapon or whatever. That's just like a practice tool that people use. It's you and John. That's like a
So-
7-shot combo. Did he get you? I can't even tell.
I hit him. So yeah, this is something I sometimes do the first time I fight folks. I just like to throw high volume, and it's really just to kind of get to know the other fighter, like how they move defensively, how they block defensively, how they like to counter that type of thing. That's a lot of what's happening here. It's me just trying to. He
Yeah, suffocating out that sword
somewhere
space.
in here. Yeah, there's. Oh yeah, and he defended it really nice.
Yeah. And then you did that same kind of wrap to the ribs, right? That's a common enough.
Yeah,
Short
yeah.
round
He
with the fist
shut
back.
down everything else.
Yep.
I was very impressed.
I feel like if you
So
do that
right
with a
around
step
here in the
back-
fight, I realized John's a really good fighter, and I got kind of excited about the fight.
Black shield, red and black sword coat. Sir Crispin. Okay. Sir Crispin. Who is fighting Sir Arundor, one of ours.
Oh yeah, so that's the guy. That's the guy I was fighting earlier.
Yeah.
Seemed
Crispin
like-
has good cardio, chat. Because him and Felix went, I think, on the video footage, roughly 12 minutes. That's a long set for an
Yeah.
adult swim. That's a long set in general.
And he moves quite a bit as well, so it wasn't like static.
Oh, that's cool. Is that like his primary hobby is ballroom dancing?
Is it ballroom dancing?
Yeah. Chat was saying that Sir Crispin is the name
All right,
of the person you fought.
yeah, man, that
The ballroom
explains some of the cardio and good movement
Yep.
for sure.
Being on your feet.
Talking
is-
about different backgrounds people
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Good feet, good cardio. Those are good things to have in a fight.
Yep. I like those, like, people talk about like the talent tools, right? Like you're born with like X height and oftentimes strength potential and all that, but there's still a pretty wide berth of like improving upon your potential, if that makes sense. Well, it might be capped. You can't really improve upon height, but you can certainly improve upon like explosiveness, strength, both like raw power as well as like acceleration, or just other like neuromuscular connection. You can improve upon that in a pretty significant way. And that's like the more advanced stuff, like just the fundamentals of like balance and movement on your feet.
Yeah. This,
Big room for-
the same way we were talking earlier about how people bring different backgrounds into fighting, and that can be assets to them. You can develop those assets after you start fighting, right?
Exactly, yeah. And build upon the foundation of whatever you have coming in.
Yeah. I gave a training on strength and conditioning and it's on YouTube somewhere. Atlantean University. I might give it again, but a lot of what I focused on is things like that, like things you're born with versus things you can develop, and how to develop a customized plan for you, right? I think John and I just had a long talk about, we were talking about earlier, which is just some A range stuff, how to manipulate people's shields around. Yeah, nice disengage right to the body.
Yeah, that's
that
Felix.
was
Felix
sick.
in the black, and John on the red. Yeah, he had a good disengage.
Boom.
Yep.
It was really good.
Yep. Yeah, this one when you step forward, he gets that quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Quick
So you can
disengage.
see me take a very different approach after this to closing with John. See my
That
shield.
one. Yep.
Or yeah, right after this. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, I'm gonna close the A and
Like
force this.
close diagonally towards his shield.
Yep.
With my shield more closed, I'm a little more crouched.
Force the issue.
Yeah. And just be. Yeah, as well as bind with his. I start binding with his sword a little bit just to tie it up.
I think
Because
John feels pretty comfortable in A, just in general. But I don't think it is necessarily his strong suit. Like, it's not a weakness, but it's not like a strength either.
He's good in A range. I think that it's just. I think just there's just a few more tools to the toolbox, right? And a lot of what I was doing, it was around kind of manipulating his shield, either with my shield, with my sword, or some combination of the two. And we talked a lot about it. I think Sven comes out at some point, and we just have a big long chat. But you were saying earlier about Crown, being that they fight in such small lists, I think, learning how to defend against those things is good if other people in his kingdom do it. But learning how to do that to other folks would be really, really good.
Just catching more.
And none of the techniques
rags
we were
and-
talking about really rely. We're talking about some techniques work better with certain characteristics. Kind of their techniques, kind of anyone can execute.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm taller, bigger, faster, stronger than anyone. It has a lot to do with timing and leverage and angles and things.
This is definitely the end of the day. You can see how sparse it
Yeah.
is now on the
Yeah,
dregs of energy for everybody.
If I'm on the field, it's definitely towards the end of the day because I was stuck in Warlord stuff for a lot of the afternoon. It was like classes in morning, Warlord stuff afternoon, then I closed it out, but
Yeah, Count Louis. Look at how chat. This is what I find frustrating about someone like Ragnar. So if you watch the sequence, he's so casual in his movements because they're so practiced, right? He knew that blade was going to be there, and so he's already intercepting it.
it's just chilling on one foot.
Yeah.
One sword
has his
down.
balance. Isn't yeah, exactly. Isn't ready to, but then matches measure. Sees the opportunity.
He-
Yep. Throws. But
Eats
just like the way he
sword.
moves is very like
It's-
it's a lot more casual. William Becker. You should clip this for him. Becker out there fighting a hard boss right here.
As I was fighting Ragnar here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fought him earlier in the day. I think he's a relatively younger, newer fighter. I think he's doing great for where he's his level of development. But for sure, he's in the deep end with a shark.
Sir Sivrid
Okay.
Broombach's son, says chat.
Okay, cool.
I don't know
Yeah,
if they're a
let's-
squire. I can't tell because they're wearing a red sash, but the sash isn't belt. It could be a mistake in, like a mistake in the sense that like I'm assuming they're a squire and they're not, or vice versa.
Yeah, I don't recall. That might just be the bottom of his armor as well. I'm not sure. I just remember just being impressed with their where they were for how long they've been fighting. They were also super gung ho. That was another high cardio human as well. I would say we had long set. and also very active. You see, he moves a lot.
This is what Rags did to me last year, and I refused to let him do it to me this year. Would just get his blade on my blade and shove my blade into oblivion right here.
Yeah, oof.
I just
That's claustrophobic.
refused. I was like, I will not let you do that this year, and it gave me opportunity to fight back and get a couple of just a couple of good attempts and one clean kill this go around.
I think binds are an underutilized thing in Armored. I've started doing more binds after doing rapier just a ton the last few years, and I think there's I definitely think there's advantages to doing it. Maybe especially in two sword, where once you bind someone, you can kind of hunt them with the other stick.
Exactly.
But even in sword and shield, I've found some interesting applications. Actually, it was actually between doing a lot of rapier and doing it in rapier, but then watching some video actually of Ragnar here doing this. I think it last adult swim to folks. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Try that.
Look at this. He does the so he, Ragnar's doing the classic two sworder. When they see the hanging guard, they reach out for a bind.
Mm-hmm.
And William does a good job of cycling through it, right? He's doing a good job of like cycling over his helm and just firing right back. A nice high, powerful flat snap. But it looks like he's turning into a wrap by extending it outward. But I'm watching like Ragnar's left hand is so disciplined that she's like, oh, I know exactly where we're going to be. We are there several frames ahead.
Yeah, just chilling, no
Just
look.
chilling, not a big deal.
Behind the head, sword
Yep.
block.
And then once again, firing the left as a return just to get the sword out of the way, bound, and right up the middle. Bop. It's so casual looking. It's so, yeah. I hope to be that level of comfortable with any implements in Rattan, where I look like that relaxed.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like William is not a squire. Thank you. Oh yeah. Alex says in chat for those who didn't see, High Viz is back here. The one I'm circling in green and yellow. That's their skating name apparently. That's it. We're also looking at one more. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, this one. This is some of the fighting from Gulf War. Nope, that's not it. That's just some random video. But yeah, there's a set with Edward. I don't know if you watched all of that set.
No. Can you make it bigger? Or?
Unfortunately, I don't know that I can. Let me futz it. Give me a second here. Let's see. Da-ba-da. So we're gonna make it a larger. That's a great question. Chat. Someone August, I believe, filmed several of Sir or Duke Edward of the East. His some of his pickups with the Herd Boys. I was watching them. They dropped earlier today. Got very excited because I am a fight fan as much as anybody else. Let's see. Nope, I don't think I can.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
No worries.
It's going to be tiny. Facebook is suboptimal for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rags doing Rags things.
This is a good fight for you to watch. I mean, that's kind of center grip meta. I saw a couple of these fights, and I don't know. I didn't watch this one. For some of the other ones, Edward looked like he was doing a really good job, like floating between threatening the thrust and other shots and stuff.
Yeah, I watched a couple where Edward found a couple of good openings with that kind of keeping his blade away from getting pinned and looking for opportunity. Definitely the way I prefer to fight as well, which is keeping it at range, keeping my sword available to, and not tied up in defensive action if I can help it, and trusting my feet and my shield to do more of my defensive work. But
Yeah.
yeah, you'll see me hit the next couple of events. Some of them with I'll be fighting sword board with lefty, and then at some point I'll practice that proper two stick.
Oh, okay. You're gonna do the full.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that this year.
progression.
That's on my to do.
Okay.
Just to try it out, start to learn it, start to be on the field with it.
Yeah. I'm working on my two sword game as well. I'm gonna work on two sword and then sword and either broken lance or Madu, one or the other.
Yeah.
So just because other folks, in both instances, it's less so about me trying to achieve something and more so like people have asked me to coach them in those styles, and so I want to get better so I can be a better coach.
Yeah.
I don't think take over as a primary style or be something I'll want to fight in tournaments or whatever, but yeah, I'll be on the same
wave,
same grind just for a different different reason.
Sven, chat, for those who haven't heard directly from him or like talked to him about fighting. If you talk to Sven about how to become a two-sword fighter, he makes all of his, like the herd folks, take about a year to fight only on sword on their offhand and shield on the dominant hand, which I think is what I'm going to try in this coming 6 months to a year. I'm going to do a lot more shield in my right hand, fighting with the sword in my left, and just playing the lefty meta for a little while, and then just kind of forcing myself to get the reps in to be a competent lefty. I don't even have to be good. I just have to be competent, because I think and it's true, when I fight two-stick, I fight too much like I have a skinny, bad shield with my left, as opposed to properly fighting left. So I think the next few months you'll see me get beat up more as I attempt to try fighting in reverse. So you get to see that footage somewhere as it comes out.
And I'll be on a similar grind, but again, both things play well to coaching because folks around me need more reps on left-handed fighters, and I want to be a better two-sword fighter to be a better coach. So I'll be doing the same thing. Cool. Maybe with one of Boomy's many center grip shields you have laying around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you a photo of all the different shields tomorrow when I get a chance to go in a barn and get all that for you. Chet, hey, thank you for hanging out. Thank you all the Ignorant Kingdom folks for joining and just hanging out a bit, looking at some footage, the normal things that we do. I will go back. I've posted this on YouTube, but I think I'll go back and edit that upside down section into a right side up section, so people don't have a headache as it goes. But look for that in the next couple of days on the YouTube channel. As always, thank you for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next one. Have a good night. Thank you, Felix, for hanging out. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Good night, chat. Good night.